Welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. I'm CarrieVee, your biggest fan, the person who will believe in you until you can believe in yourself, and then I will keep believing in you. This podcast is all things leadership, communication, confidence, clarity. It is all things life. And sometimes we get to have amazing people on the show, and you get to hear people other than me. And that today is one of those cases. We have with us again, Robyn Bolton. And I'm so excited, Robyn, to have you back on the show because you are so fabulous. So welcome back to Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee.
Thank you. I am so excited to be back.
It's going to be so good.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be so good. So Robyn has this amazing book. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see it. If you're listening, it's called Unlocking Innovation. And this book, I started reading this. It's one of those books you're not going to want to put down, though you probably do need to get your sleep. So you probably will have to put it down, but it is that good. And Robyn, we're going to talk about this today, and I'm going to let you kick us off, take us where you want to go. We don't have to cover it all today because you can be a standing guest on Coffee and Tea with CarrieVee. So let's just take it from why this book and I'll just let you take it from there.
Okay. Why this book? That is a question that honestly I asked myself because, I've spent my whole career in corporate innovation, either as a consultant or working in companies. And the one thing I knew for certain was that the world did not need another book about innovation. Like there were so many.
Your book.
Well, and that's eventually people were saying that like, no, we need your book, we need your voice. And but since you talk about confidence, I was constantly questioning, like, well, do I have anything new or different to say? And eventually I got to this point where I had this realization over the many years, we will not say how many, I've worked in corporate innovation, that there are all these fantastic ideas that people have.
Yes.
And we would spend so much time and money nurturing them, researching them, building them, but so few ever got to the market. And then inevitably, like a year or two later, I would see some other company launch the exact idea we had.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? Because when you talk to companies, when you talk to people, they're like, oh, we don't have good ideas, or we don't have big ideas, or we don't have the right ideas. And ultimately, I realized it's actually not an idea problem. It's a leadership problem.
Yeah, that still sends chills down my spine. When I read it in the book, I was like, oh, what? I have to go write this down on my whiteboard. It's so true.
It is so true. And I always say that I say that with love because I very much understand and empathize with all the challenges that leaders are facing, whether you're in a small company, a huge multinational, it is tough to be a leader and to be a manager. And you have, people higher up than you, because there's always a hierarchy, saying, hey, you have to run your business, flawlessly. And you have to create new business. And so few people recognize that, one, those are two entirely different things. And two, that all the ways that we measure and reward executives, managers, leaders is based on what they do in the short term.
Okay.
And so, you think about just like what your annual bonus is based on. It's like, did you deliver your quarter? Did you deliver your sales numbers for the year? It's all about, this year kind of is the longest time you get. But, and that's perfect for operating, right? Innovation is a long-term investment.
Yes.
And so if you start on something new now, you're not going to see the revenue, you're not going to see the growth or, any sort of benefits until at least 2 years, probably 3, 5, whatever it is, years now. So, and it's highly uncertain if you'll ever see anything, right? That's part of innovation is there's an uncertainty. And so, if I put myself in executive shoes and I'm like, okay, I have a finite budget, I have a finite number of people, and I can spend $1 or allocate a person to improving a process for an existing business. Or I could put that, and I'll know what I'll get from it. Like, I know the ROI that I'll get. I know when I'll get it. Like, absolutely, nothing's certain, but this is pretty close to certain.
Yeah.
Or I can spend that money or allocate that person to something that, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know when I'll get something back from it. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll get something back for it. Like, I would absolutely put all my resources towards the certain thing because that's what I get rewarded for.
Hmm. Hmm. Do
And
you, oh, sorry,
that,
keep going.
no,
Keep
I
going.
was gonna say, and that's kind of the core of the leadership problem.
So, do you find that most business executives are hesitant then to even jump into innovation?
They it's they're either hesitant, but more often they're either skeptical because they've seen this before. They're like, oh, we've seen this management, flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Never mind, I'm gonna ignore it. Or they're really excited
Okay.
because they are creative, curious people
Hmm.
who see potential and they want to work in it. And so they go full bore and
Yeah.
to be like, yes, we are going to innovate, we are going to create these things. And then after a couple months, honestly, reality starts to set in of like, oh wait, but we're having problems over here on, in this business or with this
Hmm.
customer, and I need to pull. And it kind of becomes death by a thousand paper cuts of like, well, let me just pull a little bit of money from innovation to put against this problem. Let me just pull this one person off of innovation and put it against this issue.
Hmm.
And you know I call it the tyranny of now. The tyranny of now will always overwhelm.
How do we break out of the tyranny of now?
That is hard. And it is really hard because we live it, right? Like this is life. Everything is urgent and pressured and
Hmm.
all that. And so it really takes a special, courageous, and I would say somewhat crazy person to defend against that. Because, for a lot of very good reasons, you are gonna we're wired as humans to
Yeah.
focus on what we get rewarded for
Yeah.
and to respond to the stimulus in front of us. And it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage and a lot of self-belief to to be able to take that pause and be like, wait a minute, what are the trade-offs that I would be making if I pursued this?
Okay.
And it takes having a long-term built view, kind of thinking about what is the legacy that I want to leave.
Hmm.
And that's hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. So, so when you talk about it not being an idea problem, but a leadership problem, then
Mhm.
how do we focus on that? Let me word it this way. What
Yeah.
are the leadership skills that we need to focus on in order then to allow these ideas to innovate? I have, in my past, in my corporate past, I worked for one business owner who would come up with a great idea and we would start to implement it. And then 2 months later, like you just said, we're done with that. And we're jumping into the next thing and into the next thing. It was exhausting. It was
Hmm.
absolutely exhausting. And also when I jumped into network marketing, the first network marketing company that I worked with had a call every Monday morning. Sorry, speech impediment braces.
Hey, been there.
Yeah, I know. I can tell your teeth are so beautiful. Um, we had a Monday morning call every single Monday at 8 a.m. called the Monday morning wake up call. And every single Monday, they had someone who was killing the network marketing business tell us how they did it. And I found myself taking notes and starting to implement, right? And
Uh-huh.
then the next Monday, there was something else. And so I'd do that. And the next Monday, there would be something else. I finally stopped going because I thought if
Hmm.
I don't do my own brainstorming and innovate in my own business, I'm
Yep.
never going to grow ever. So what are the skills that we need to focus on in order to build the leadership skills that are needed to allow innovation to work its magic while your business is growing elsewhere? Because you got to do both, right? Am I on
Yeah.
the right track? Okay.
Yeah, you definitely, it's and not or. You have
Okay.
to do both. And what you described, a friend of mine has a great term for the people who are all ideas. She calls them idea volcanoes. And it's like they're full of light, but they will burn you. Um,
That's a good way to put it.
and you know, like people are full of ideas, and so there are a lot of idea volcanoes out there. And so one of the first things that I talk about, so in the book there I have a framework, because there has to be a framework,
Of course.
called the ABCs, the architecture, so all the process and structures, the behaviors,
Mhm.
and the culture of
Yeah.
innovation. And you know just as you honed in on, behavior is the most important part,
Mhm.
and having the right behaviors starts with self-awareness. So
Okay.
actually, taking a moment, and it doesn't, like, you don't have to go on a retreat. If you want an excuse for like a retreat, go for it, use this as an excuse. But it can also be 5 minutes at your desk of thinking about, like, why do you want to do this new thing?
Mhm.
Kind of, what is the motivation? What is your why for doing this?
Okay.
How does it relate to the organization's strategies and priorities? Because if it doesn't link to something bigger within the organization, it's not going to get support.
Okay.
And then, what are you willing to do and not willing to do to advance the idea? And that includes, how are you willing to change the idea?
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
taking a moment to reflect on those three questions and write down the answers, well, like, that just serves as a point that you can keep coming back to and reorienting to as you move forward.
Yeah. So what are some great whys that I mean, you have worked with people. What are some great whys that people have for things that they are innovating or trying to innovate?
Yeah. So for a lot of people, it's, leaving a legacy of, either I want to leave my team, the people, kind of
Mhm.
better off. I want to see them advance in their careers. I want to be a mentor to them.
Yeah.
Leaving a legacy around the business is, I
Okay.
want the business to be stronger, bigger than it was when I found it.
Yeah.
I also had the fortune to work with a chief sustainability officer,
Okay.
and that person's why was very much around, even beyond her company, of establishing a new standard for sustainability in the industry,
Mhm.
and lighting the way for others to follow. And
Yes.
then, to be perfectly honest, a good portion are like, their why is because I was told to do this and I want to keep my job. And I'm like, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Like, just the thing is,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong answers on the why. It's just about being honest,
Mhm.
because so often leaders show up and they're like, "Rah, rah, we're going to innovate, we're going to disrupt ourselves, yay!" And then you bring them an idea, and basically, if it's anything that looks even a little bit different, they're like, no, no. And you're like, if you just be honest
Yeah.
that you're doing this because you were told to, and so you need to go through the motions,
Mm.
fine, I'll go through the motions with you, but I will spend my energy and my time differently.
Yeah, I have never heard anyone say that about your why. It doesn't really
Yeah.
matter, just be honest about it. And I as someone who helps people with life mapping and coaching in their lives, that is such a great may I borrow that phrase?
All yours. Go
Thank you.
for it.
Because that's so powerful, and I've never heard anyone say that, and I see so many people trying to find the answer that they think I want to hear.
Mm, yeah.
And I I don't have anything in my mind of what I wanna hear. I truly wanna know, why do you want to do this? Why are you investing in this? Why is this important to you? And
Mhm.
if it's to make more money, then let's just put that out on the table, because there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Right. Right. And
But
so
yeah,
many people, I've gone through my own coaching journeys, the shoulds of, like,
yeah.
well, this should be my why. And
Mhm.
so when I have conversations with leaders around, like, what is your why? We have to sift through the shoulds first, of like, oh, well, because I want to do that. I'm like, is that really what you want to do?
Yeah,
And then, it takes a while to kind of break down and be like, no, I just told I had to do this. And so I need to check the box. Okay, great.
yeah, yeah. This is so powerful you're bringing out, and I knew you would. I knew you would bring out so much good stuff. And I am working on my discipline to look at the camera. And I
Oh,
wanna look at you so bad, which of
I
course will
know.
then look like I'm not looking at you, which is just not good
Yes, the
to you.
the joy of the camera offset. Yeah.
They have to do see, this is what we need to have innovated, is when we're doing these things, that the camera is actually on your
Yes,
face.
where the eyes are. Yes.
Maybe there already is something like that, and I just don't know about it. I don't know. But, okay, so many great truths coming out here, and I
Mhm.
and I love the ABC framework, and and the behavior being that part that is the driver. So,
Mhm.
can you go through the A and the C as well and why that is also important?
Sure, absolutely. So the A is the architecture, and that's all the businessy stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's, the strategy, the process, the structures, the governance, the metrics, all of those businessy things. And that is where, as I lovingly call it, the innovation industrial complex has focused for the past 30 some years. And because as business people, that's what we buy,
Yeah,
right? That's what we think about.
that's right.
And all of that stuff is necessary, but it's not sufficient to succeed because innovation is a leadership problem. So you absolutely have to start with both the architecture and the behaviors together. The
Okay.
the culture is a lagging indicator because in the research that I've done, a lot of people write about this, people far smarter than me, but the culture is based on the behaviors that people observe.
Okay.
It's not what you say, it's not what you put on the posters, it's not what you hang on the walls. It's what people observe you as a leader doing
Hmm.
repeatedly that builds the culture. And so you need at the very beginning a culture that is at least indifferent to innovation. I've been in companies where there's a hostility to
Mm.
innovation.
Mhm.
So you need kind of just at least neutrality. And then over time, through behavior, through results, through the work that you do, you build a culture of innovation within an organization.
Okay. Do you find that most people stop with the architecture and never move
Mhm.
on, and that's
Yeah.
because of a leadership issue?
Yeah. Yeah. And because, we don't, it's uncomfortable to address behavior, right? Like, I mean, you're a
Oh,
coach, you know how tough it is
oh
to
yeah.
kind of call out behaviors that aren't serving the person or serving their why. And so it's not something that people are comfortable doing. Um, and so it's easy to not do it. It's
Okay.
very, easy and comfortable, especially as
Yeah.
an outsider, as a consultant or advisor or a coach, to come and be like, here's your process. Let me help you like refine this process and make it all work perfectly.
Mhm.
And then, when you say the wrong thing in a meeting, I'll just go back to my office and be like, oh, they did a terrible thing, but not talk to you about it. And so
Yeah.
that's why all of the work tends to focus very much on architecture.
Mhm. So, you are working with people on helping them innovate, companies, individuals to help them innovate.
Yep.
Are there aha moments that you see happen in people when they finally get it, and what is that? Like, where
Yes.
does the tipping point come?
Yes. So it usually comes about two-thirds of the way through our work together. I think
Okay.
one of the best compliments I've ever been paid was that a client looked at me and said, "Working with you is like going to Oz."
Oh,
And
I love
I at first I was excited that like, wait, that could
it.
actually not be a compliment. So so I asked him like, "What do you mean by that?" And like everything was black and white, and now I see it in Technicolor.
Oh.
And that was just amazing.
Mhm.
And that's the kind of turning point that I see people have, is they realize that there's so much more complexity and beauty in the world, and for at least for me, more importantly, that they are capable of so much more
Mhm.
than they thought they were, that they are creative and they are innovative and they do have ideas and they are allowed to ask questions, and kind of all of the barriers and limitations they put on themselves start to fall away.
I love this.
And that's my favorite part of the work.
I love it, and you just said that it comes about 2/3 of the way in.
Mhm.
How do you keep them, listening and engaged for that first 2/3 then when they're not quite, really getting it?
Yep.
What's your secret sauce, Robin?
So the first third is kind of getting over either their hesitancy or their skepticism.
Okay.
And then so it takes a little bit of time to get them to just kind of drop the defenses.
Okay.
and open up and be willing to go along with the process that they signed up for.
Hmm.
And that in, so the work, what we're doing is really collaborative.
Okay.
It's not me rolling in and being like, here's what you're doing wrong, here's what you should do instead, giving the answers. It really is acting as a coach and a partner and taking them on the journey
Okay.
of working on innovation. And inevitably what will happen is, at some point, usually a few weeks in, we'll be talking to a customer or we'll be out in the market and something surprising will happen. They will have an aha moment where someone says something they didn't expect, or they see something they didn't expect. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, that's different.
Yeah.
That's a surprise. And then working through that surprise and untangling it and unraveling it and understanding it,
Mm,
that then leads to, kind of that bigger aha, that moment where you go land in Oz and you're like, there's so much more than I thought.
yes. I'm imagining The Wizard of Oz, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, it's good.
So when, oh my gosh, when she lands in Oz and that Technicolor rolls in and
Yes.
how it still gets me, even though everything I see now is high definition and like way beyond even Technicolor. But I remember
uh,
watching this as a little girl. So I remember watching it 55 years ago. It's probably the first time I remember. I would have been 5, and seeing that color come in and being so
yeah.
I might have been a little older than that because we only had black and white TVs at first.
Right.
So really
Yes.
kinda lost its oomph, but I can still feel that, like, waiting for that after I knew
Yeah.
it was coming, but waiting for that beautiful splash of color, and so I'm envisioning these amazing people that you're working with getting that same feeling of, "Oh, oh my
Right.
gosh."
Yep. Yep.
Every company that rolls great things out,
Mhm.
I'm guessing, I'll ask you as the expert, do they spend then a lot of time innovating and they get it? That we have to have that time where it looks like it might be a loss of revenue, but we know that it's
Mm.
just the part where we're pulling back the bow so we can let the arrow zing, right?
Yep.
When we can see that, when we can look at companies who are rolling out these amazing innovations, how do mm, what is the process of looking at that, but thinking that I don't have time and money to innovate? Like, how do you get past that skepticism that you've talked about? What are the steps for getting past that? Are you working on leadership skills and self-development skills kind of like without them really knowing that's what they're doing? What's your process?
Yeah. So my process first is, understanding the organization because,
Mhm, mhm.
there was a company that I worked with and, early on we were saying, okay, what is your architecture? What is your strategy for innovation? How does it tie to your bigger strategies and priorities? And
Okay.
what we eventually, in conversation realized is that the company didn't want to be innovative. They didn't want to be first. They wanted to be a fast follower.
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, that is really helpful to know
Mhm.
because then we won't spend time trying to create new things for the world. We're going to spend time actually building processes so you can be a fast follower.
Okay.
So
I
what are the
like that.
capabilities you need to, quickly scan the market, assess what's doing well, quickly copy
Mm,
something, like it kind of goes back to like own your why. And so for them it was the innovation ended up being very very different than what we expected going in. For other companies I've worked with, they're like, we want to be way out far ahead, we want to be blazing the trail.
yeah.
And then that conversation is saying, okay, who do we have to do that? And usually a lot of companies like, let's get our high potential people on the team. These are the folks that are successful. And usually I'm like, no, please don't do that. Because the high potential people are high potential because they are amazing at the operating. They're
Mhm.
amazing at what the company does. what you need are the squeaky wheels and the people who ask questions and kind of annoy you because they're always like, we can do this better. Why are we doing it this way? And, I very lovingly call it like you have to find the misfit toys and put them on Innovation Island for a little bit
Yeah.
because they're the ones who just naturally, instinctively are like, well, let's do this. Let's try this. And you can build so much from there.
Yes. I'm I'm putting this kind of together a little bit in my head with the disc profile, and
Mm.
like the D's and the I's are we're the people. I'm high I, not if you couldn't tell. And I
Yep.
love to go out there and do what the S's and C's have done all of this research on. But they don't
Yep.
want to do that part. They want to
Yep.
just give me the ideas and then run with it. And you really, the way you worded it, Robyn, really helps me see that, and how important it is to know where you are in the cog of the wheel,
Yeah.
of which part you do. And I love that you say, no, 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 don't do that. I love that you bring this out because it is, I think, it maybe instinctual to say, well, I'm going to get my biggest producers on this innovation part.
Mhm.
And the producers are sitting there going, I just want to go out there and produce, man. Let me do
Oh
my
yeah.
part.
Oh, and it's so painful to be with them because you can just feel, like, literally feel the fear and the resistance
Mm,
and the clenching
yeah.
because they're in a world that they don't wanna be in. They are
Yeah.
in a world that is defined by uncertainty and ambiguity and change, and that is the last place they wanna be.
Yes.
And so when companies are like, "Everyone's an innovator," I'm like, "Everyone can be an innovator, but not
Mhm.
everyone wants to be."
Mhm.
And so you have people who just wanna operate, they wanna be experts at what they do. Oh my gosh, you need those people, love those people,
Yeah.
and, treasure everyone, innovator, operator, somewhere in between, you need all kinds,
Yes.
but let them do what they're amazing at.
Yes. Yes. Back to getting everybody in the right seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so much truth in that, which you are bringing out in this book too. So we are going to have you back again because we got through like chapters 1, 2, and 3, I think. So we have a lot more to bring to the table on this. I don't know how our time goes so fast. I could listen to you
Oh,
all day, all
you
day.
ask such great questions, I'm like, "Oh, let me talk about that."
Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Oh, yeah.
I'm blown away by the book. It's really helping me realize that the time that I spend at my desk brainstorming or in my chair over by my window brainstorming with my Japanese lamp, which is what the dogs were barking at a few minutes ago. One of them hit it with their leg while they were scratching,
Oh,
and it kind of like looked like it
Peter,
was gonna tip over. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and then they thought they had to teach it a lesson. So they're with
of
me
course.
today. So that's the way it is. Anyway, I don't even know where my head was. See, this is my eye coming out. We have to have you back.
I
And
love it.
thank you. We need to go deeper into this. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The time that I would spend there brainstorming with my journal, I always convinced myself was like, if I get the time, I'll do that. And when I realized, no, this is a part actually of my schedule, everything started to shift because
Mhm.
I was never giving my brain the time to settle down and really think. And once I did that, everything opened up because my brain would give me ideas. They're sitting in there. Your brain is
Yeah,
right. It's amazing when you
yeah,
can. I mean, there's just so much in there. When you give it time to pull off all those layers, then you can start bringing out these ideas. And so, giving people, let me pose it as a question: is it, or how powerful is it to give people the permission to think and innovate? Like
it
to,
is
ah,
it is so important to give them the permission
yeah.
to think and innovate in the ways that work for them. So a lot of people
Mhm.
talk about, like, 20% time, which I think 3M made famous, Google use. Don't mandate when and how people should enter that creative stage.
Yeah.
give them the permission to do it. Tell them that you want to hear their ideas, but let them figure out how do they do that really well. So as
Mm.
you were talking about, your brainstorming, God love you. I am terrible at brainstorming. I have like so many barriers and inner critics and all that running around that I struggle to brainstorm,
Mhm.
which is why I love people who love to brainstorm and it comes naturally because I'm like, I can pick up your ideas and work with them.
Yes.
And so like if you were to tell me like, oh no, go spend a day brainstorming, I'd be like, please no, please don't make me do that. Um, but saying like, hey, partner up with CarrieVee and work on something like fantastic.
Yes.
So give
Yes.
people permission, but let them decide how.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes, we've okay. So sometimes, do you find that it happens very organically when these ideas start to come out? Like you're at a lunch meeting and someone says something and the other person picks up on it. And then by the time this hour-long lunch is done, you have napkins with stuff printed all over, but no one went in there with that
Right.
idea. It just
Yeah.
happens.
Yes. So often that's the way is ideas come out through that conversation and exchange of ideas and building and when you least expect it.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I can't wait to have you back, Robyn.
Can't wait to come back.
Ah, you are so amazing. And for those of you lucky enough to be watching on YouTube and you see the joy and just the light that Robyn brings into a room, I want to travel to you and just be your bestie. That's what I
Oh,
want.
thank you.
Thank you. Before we let you go,
Mhm.
we have to know your superpower. It can be the same or different. It doesn't have to be the same as last time. And a writing prompt for us and where we can find you.
Okay. So a superpower. I think last time I used complexity
Mhm.
busting.
Yes, you
So
did.
this time I am going to use silence.
Oh.
So I learned a long time ago that at least in Western culture, if you're silent for about 8 seconds, people will fill in the silence.
Yes.
And that is where so much goodness comes from. So I have learned to hold that uncomfortable 8 seconds. So
Yes.
silence is my superpower.
Love it.
Um, and a writing prompt, I would say, are you an innovator? Why or why not?
Oh, that's a great one. Are you an innovator? Why or why not? I would love everyone listening to send your responses to that to Robyn. And where
Yes.
can they send them? Where can they send them?
They can, you can send them directly to me, Robyn at MileZero.io.
Okay.
Or you can DM me or whatever it's called on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm there as well,
I love, or whatever it's called on LinkedIn. I
or
love
whatever it's
that because
called.
I don't know what it is on all these. I don't know.
I
I called something a DM on a platform one time, and my friend was like, "That's not what it's called on this platform." I was like, "I'm 60. I don't care.
like I'm doing my best.
Message me. I don't
Yes.
care." All right, and I will put all that contact info below this podcast, whether you're watching or listening. It will be in the show notes, so make sure you reach out to Robyn. And until next time, Robyn, I cannot wait to have you
Till
back on
next
the
time.
show. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. So excited to come back again.
Me too.